This is not just another statement from Washington, this is a warning, a prediction, and a message rolled into one. And it comes at a moment when Iran is already under enormous pressure from within. You're watching Times XP. My name is Driti, Atri, and the US ambassador to Israel has made a striking claim. He says that if Iran's current rulers are removed from power, the impact would not stop at Iran's borders. According to him, it could bring down Iran's entire regional network, be it Hamas, be it Hezbollah, be it Houthis. You're watching Times XP. My name is Driti Atri, and to understand this claim, we need to understand how Iran projects power. For years, Tehran has avoided direct wars with Israel or the US. Instead, it has built influence through armed groups outside its borders. These groups, they fight Iran's enemies, pressure their rival, and extend its reach without exposing Iranian forces directly. Hamas in Gaza receives political backing, they receive weapons, strategic support. Hezbollah in Lebanon is Iran's strongest proxies. Built over decades with money, missiles, training, the Houthis in Yemen, they have used Iranian support to threaten the shipping lanes and regional stability. Together, these groups form Iran's shield and sword across the whole Middle East. Now comes the key argument. If the government in Tehran collapses, this entire system could break down. A new leadership inside Iran would likely focus on survival at home rather than funding the wars abroad. Money would dry up, weapon pipelines would weaken, command structures would lose coordination, of course. And that is why the ambassador believes that regime change in Iran, it could weaken these groups dramatically. Without Tehran's backing, they would be forced to rely only on local resources, and that would limit their reach, their power, their ability to sustain long conflicts. Well, these claims comes as Iran faces intense internal unrest. Protests have spread across major cities. The economy is struggling under inflation and currency collapse. Public anger is rising against political repression and economic hardship. Well, Iran's leadership is responding with force, arrests, restrictions on communication either, but every crackdown, it carries a risk. The harder the regime pushes, well, the more resistance it may generate. And yes, at the very same time, global powers are reacting. The US is openly voicing support for the Iranian people. Israel is watching closely, seeing a potential shift in its security environment. Regional players, they are bracing for sudden change. However, this vision is not without a danger. Many analysts warn that the fall of Iran's current system, it could create instability rather than peace. Power vacuum often invite chaos. Rival factions could compete for the control. New armed groups, well, that would emerge too. So this is the real question the world is facing right now. Would a changed Iran bring calm to the Middle East, or would it open the door to the new and unpredictable conflict? Well, one thing is certain here. Iran's protests, they are no longer just about domestic unrest. They are now tied to regional security, global diplomacy, and the future of power in the Middle East. Now, what happens next in Iran would decide much more than Iran's fate. It would reshape conflicts, alliances, and stability across an entire region. And this is why the world is watching closely.